Today we'll demonstrate how you can make very nice looking garden beds like these, very quick and very easy. Growing your own food gives a great feeling of freedom and self-reliance. At our farm we have tried several different methods of farming, such as deep beds, hugel beds and forest garden type growing. The goal with this part of our garden though is to be able to sell some produce to local markets and people. It's the first time that we try something like this for ourselves, but the method has been developed in many parts of the world, and our biggest source of inspiration is Ridgedale farm and Richard Perkins. We will post a link to his YouTube channel in the description down below. We have decided to make all these beds in the exact same length and width, and this is to make everything easier when it comes to calculating harvest and seeds, and yeah, everything just becomes so much easier when all beds are the same. So it's much easier to anticipate how much fertilizer you need and stuff like that. Time calculations, bedding materials, cover cloth materials and stuff like that. And so I think it's a good advice to keep all your beds to the same size. And our specific beds, they are 30-inch wide and 26 feet long, and that is 75 centimeters and 8 meters long. The world needs more small-scale farmers who use methods that are simple and good for the earth. We use only no-dig methods, which is beneficial to soil microorganisms and earthworms and mycorrhiza, and just helps keeping alive soil. This really helps us to create a healthy soil ecosystem that can produce really high quality vegetables and benefit the nature that we live in. In this episode we will show how you can make garden beds like these in a very simple way. I really hope you will enjoy this video and that you'll get inspired to grow your own food. We set out all our beds very carefully with wooden stakes and thin rope to get exactly 75 centimeter width, and our beds are 8 meter long, and it's 40 centimeters path in between the beds. And we made 11 beds. So we started by putting out stakes where we wanted them. We also ordered compost and wood chips to make the bed material, and we put this in 20 centimeter thick layers just on top of the old lawn. It's not actually a lawn, it's more of a grazing field or a field. So after putting out the stakes and the rope, we started filling the beds with soil or compost. And this compost is actually quite a woody compost. It's also very cheap compost, so we anticipate that we have to put quite a lot of manure onto it to get the desired fertility. And when putting up the beds, it eases a lot to make the lines in the right height. Then you know exactly how high and how wide you need to put the compost. Here are a few days later when we made most of the beds. As you can see, it looks quite nice. So, see me here, I'm measuring so that it's the right height everywhere. And here, for example, we don't have any cardboard underneath the wood chips, but only wood chips just on top of the ground. It's the same with the compost. The idea is that the compost and the wood chips are put out in such thick layers, at least 20 centimeters, which will hopefully smother all the weeds out and long enough for our vegetables to take over the root area, so to speak. So it was a little bit tricky to find out exactly how we were gonna make the beds, but I found the easiest way was to pack it like this with the shovel. So first laying out the soil just loosely and then packing it down from the top, and after that packing it from the sides so it makes kind of a loaf. And after which we put wood chips in the paths. And for this I found it easiest to use buckets and just put in wood chips a little bit at the time. And that's because you don't want to spill too much wood chips in the beds themselves, because you don't want wood chips in there. That's why I found it much easier to just use the buckets. So, and here's the finished result. Sure looks nice, right? So the idea is that we will make the whole area here pretty much into garden beds, but this is the start for this year. We're gonna try to sell the vegetables to the market, and we thought it was a good idea to start in a small area just to see how we want to do with expansion later, because we also have to think about building packing area and post-harvest areas. So this feels like a great start, actually, and we're very hopeful to see what we can grow here this year. So hope you liked this video. Hope it gave you some inspiration to start growing your own veggies. So I thought I'd try to give some numbers, some figures on how much time and money we've spent on these beds. So we made 11 beds, each 6 square meters, and for that we ordered a truck full truck with a trailer. So both full truck and adherent trailer, and the truck was filled with compost, and the trailer was filled with wood chips. As you can see, it's not so much left actually. So the cost for that, I haven't got the bill yet, but will be around 10,000 Swedish crowns. So that's around $1,000 for these 11 beds. So, but that's a one-time cost. So next time, next year, we'll probably just put on a tiny bit of compost and fertilizer of some kind. I don't know which one yet. Maybe it will be the same, maybe something else. Depends on how well it works this year. So when it comes to time that we put into this project, it took about a week to make all the 11 beds, and that was me and my oldest son, who's 10 years old. We did it together, and we didn't work all days, so maybe half a week if you work really hard, and it of course depends on how many you are. 2 beds per day is absolutely no problem. 3 beds per day is also possible, of course. Even 4 beds if you work really hard. So that's about it for the time, I would say. And as mentioned earlier, we have put 20 centimeters of compost down to try to suffocate all the weeds. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want more from us, please leave a comment or like the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you make sure that you will get an update in your email every time we post a new video. So it's very windy today, so I hope that you have heard something about what I've said, and yeah, have a good time. See you later.